Good to know. Get a heads up. Otherwise, everyone just hear me sitting here talking about complete bollocks, which is a good phrase, and I feel all Americans should adopt it. Hey guys, it's Adam Lyons, and today I'm going to be taking you through some very simple methods to ensure that you never get rejected again. But in order for me to do this, I need your help. Yes, you, sitting here looking at this. How many people are watching this right now?
Checking it right now.
Okay, let's get. I'm going to get an answer of how many are watching at this exact moment.
79.
There are 79 of you watching this right now. So 79 of you guys paying attention to me and watching this right now. This is going to work 1,000 times better if you guys actually interact with me. Lots of reasons. One, so I know that I'm not just talking to a whole bunch of like online robots that are really just Google bots scrolling, adding up view counts or something. But two, more importantly, because it lets me know that I'm actually teaching stuff that makes sense to you. So before we even start this, I'm going to ask you one question. Do you currently get rejected? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but you'd be surprised just how many students I have that come to me saying that their biggest fear is they're worried about getting rejected, and yet they have never been rejected. And the way I teach this is going to change based on the fact whether you have or have not been rejected. So there's 79 of you watching this. I need to know how many of you have been rejected and how many of you haven't. So right now, could you please type, yes, I normally get rejected, or no, I don't get rejected because I don't approach, or because I'm awesome and I just never get rejected. I'm assuming that very last one doesn't cover most of you, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I want you to write it in the chat. Yes, I get rejected. No, I don't get rejected. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking, oh, whatever, I've just got it in the background because I'm really just checking my Facebook and I'm just listening to the audio feed, I don't need to type. Somebody else is going to type for me. You are wrong. 79 sounds like a lot, but it's actually not very many, which means just one vote will make a huge difference as to the way I teach this. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because you guys are here live. And when you're watching a live video, it's good to know that the content is being tailored to you. You know, I don't want you to think this is some kind of pre-recording that I did a couple of weeks ago and that, I just cycle it out to the same old people. It isn't. This is fresh. I am really here working with you. And B, I want to make sure that the content I teach is applicable to you. So if you've got anything else going on around you, stop it. Turn it off. Focus on this. Or leave. Like, just get up and don't bother doing this, because I want to make sure this gives you the best value, and I don't want you just half listening to me, because then you're going to be like, that didn't really help me. But in reality, it's just because you weren't focused. I need you focused. I need you present. I need you reacting to me. So hopefully in a second, Matt should start seeing some comments popping up.
Yeah, everyone's been, yes, I get rejected. I hate to get rejected. 95% of the time I get rejected. I've been rejected once.
Wow.
Worst experience ever.
Holy crap. Okay, so you guys get rejected a lot. Is there anyone that's like, I never get rejected? Like, is there anyone?
There's people that say once in a while. Some person says, of course, for my girlfriend I get rejected. No, because I don't approach was one response.
No, because I don't approach. All right, so no, this is really useful, because now I know, based on your guys' responses, I don't need to cover a whole bunch of like, I need to motivate you guys to approach. I need to make sure you do this, because it sounds like you guys are approaching and just not getting the results you want. It sounds like you're getting rejected. And so based off this, I'm going to assume that you're getting rejected. It's probably, kind of makes sense logically, but you're probably not getting the sex that you want either. So how many of you are actually happy in your sex life? How many of you are watching this and you're like, you know what? I get enough sex. I actually had a conversation with Matt the other day that blew me away. Sorry, Matt, I'm going there. I'm keeping it real. Yeah. I had a conversation with Matt the other day where I was like, I was talking to him about life and like what he does. And I was like, I was concerned that he doesn't get enough sex. And Matt's like, what do you mean I don't get enough sex? I was like, I don't know, it feels to me like you don't get enough sex. And Matt's like, I get more than enough sex. And I was like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have said anything. It's because I didn't realize that Matt gets apparently more than he normally gets. Because to me, Matt doesn't have a different girl over every single night, so there must be something wrong in his sex life. Because in my world, if you're not getting laid every single night, you're unhappy. Because basically that's where I am. Like, my girls know, like literally, in fact, it's not every night. Like, realistically, if I'm going to be real with you, it's not every night. Matt knows it is some nights. Matt's walked in to my living room and seen me, unfortunately, butt naked, banging one or two of my girls. However, for me, it's the morning. I like sex every morning. I know it's a good day if I wake up in the morning and I start my day with sex. Today was a bad day because today was not started with sex because my girls had to go off early in the morning because they're doing a film shoot. And that meant I had to wake up. Well, I woke up later than them and they'd already left by the time I woke up. So today was a bad day. So I can feel it. To me, it's a bad day today because I haven't had sex yet. I'm going to have to go and claim it after this. But the point is, if you are not happy in your sex life, you're not getting enough sex, then often that's because it's not because you're not doing anything, it's because you're doing things but you're getting rejected. So I want to know if you're happy in your sex life, let me know. If you want more sex, if you want to make sure you're having more sex, or maybe the quality of sex you're getting isn't good enough, maybe you're in a relationship and you're not getting the kind of sex you want, let me know as well, because once again, that's going to help me change things. Matt, we getting people responding to that?
Yeah, they're like, no, I'm not happy at all. Not even enough regular intimacy.
Not enough intimacy. That sucks, man. I'm sorry. That is
like,
tough.
I want more quality sex. Not happy at all. No sex.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no sex, not getting it at all. Okay, this sucks, guys. All right, so how about this? How about we have a deal? I'm going to sit with you. I'm going to be real with you, and I'm going to take you through 5 simple ways to drastically remove rejection, like to just get rid of it. Things you can do that make sure you don't get rejected. And then after that, I'm going to take you through, and I'm going to give you a link that you can go and check, and you can listen to a psychological study that was done that will actually take you through the different things you need to turn a girl on. So this is like government-backed research. I'm gonna give you access to a link where you can watch this video. It wasn't done by me, it was done by a friend of mine who's like identified all of this secret government research they did to find out what turns a girl on. And I know you might be thinking, wow, that's a weird thing to do. But if you think about it, there's a lot of issues in places like Japan right now, a lot of Asian cultures where they're actually not having sex. In fact, Japan specifically, they've kind of become an asexual culture. They've moved away from actually having sex. But there, of course, are people over there that want to have sex, and the government's concerned about the decline in sexuality, and more importantly, in breeding. They're not getting enough children, and they're trying to increase the workforce of the elderly. This is crazy stuff. Like, I promise you, it's all real. They've got too many old people, and there's no young people coming to look after them. So they're looking at ways to create cyborg old age pensioners. Did I tell you this already? Because they think they're trying to make cyborg old age pensioners so they can keep working the fields and doing like all the manual labor because there are no young kids coming up. And it's all a problem because they're just not having enough sex, which sounds crazy, but it's real. And so governments around the world have done a bunch of different research to try and work out what it is that makes a woman want to have sex. And at the end of this, because I'm going to talk about rejection, but I think ultimately a lot of people, once they learn how to get past rejection, realistically, the thing you're really looking for is how to get a girl to want to have sex with you. And so if you're interested in learning about that research that was done and learning about how to do that, I'm going to give you a link at the very end that you can click on. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know now, so that will let me know whether I should tell you guys more about that later on, or whether you guys like, you know what, I don't care about that. I just want to learn about rejection. That's the only thing I care about. So let me know there. And I like this. I like that you guys give me feedback. This makes it great, makes it really easy to talk to. So let me know if you're interested in that. And I'm going to tell you about the worst rejection I ever got. It was bad. Like, it was so bad. I think I may have mentioned it before to some of you guys, but for those of you guys that don't know it, let me ask. Let's do a test. Why not? You guys are here. First of all, Matt, are we getting people saying they're interested in this thing?
Yes. Hell yeah, man. Feed me. Yes, I want the link.
All right, good. Okay, so there's people, I want the link.
Yeah.
Tell me. Does anyone not want it? Is anyone like, no, fuck it, I don't care?
There's not a single person. Someone says they're not going to visit Japan anytime soon.
They're not going to visit Japan anytime soon. Okay, no, that's a good bit of feedback. So the person that says they're not going to visit Japan anytime soon, totally understood. One second, speak on my microphone. Totally understood that you're not going to visit Japan anytime soon. But the same research that makes a girl in Japan go from I don't want to have sex to having sex will also work over here. And actually, I believe the government research that was done wasn't actually just done in Japan. It was just done in general to try and learn about what makes it happen. But you can learn more about it on the link anyway, if it's something you're interested in. So that's a good thing. All right, so let's see. How many of you watching this right now have heard about me and the kissing bandit? If you have heard about it, let me know. If you have not heard about it, let me know. And then I know whether this is a story that I need to tell you guys, because this was my worst rejection. Like, the kissing bandit was maybe the worst thing that ever happened to me. And what makes it worse is it was my very first approach. The very first one. Like, I signed up for a program, paid thousands of dollars to learn from somebody, what it takes to be able to approach somebody. I signed up for this program. I learned how to do it. I went out, and then I got the worst rejection that I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely horrible. So I'm just curious if anyone's heard this story, because some people may have heard it, because I do talk about it.
So right now it seems like 50-50, actually. 50% of people have, and 50% haven't. Like,
Okay, 50 people have, and 50 people haven't. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. For those of you guys that have heard it before, I'm going to tell it very quickly for those that haven't. But then afterwards, I'm going to tell you another story that I suspect you haven't heard before, which was the best rejection I ever had. Like, the absolute best rejection, the one that I'm glad I got. Now, let's see if any of you have heard that story, because I'm guessing no one's heard that story yet. So while that's coming in, I'm going to tell you about Kissing Bandit. So here's what happened. My very first boot camp ever, the very first time I learned how to approach, my instructor told me that what I had to do was I had to go up to girls on the street, jump in front of them and go, I'm the Kissing Bandit. You can't get by me unless you make out with me. And I was like, no fucking way that's going to work. And my coach was like, dude, it works. I'm like, no fucking way is that going to work. And he's like, trust me, go do it. So I'm standing there in the middle of Leicester Square in London. These two girls come towards me, and I walk up to them, and I'm like, I'm the Kissing Bandit. You can't get by unless you make out with me. And the girls go, fuck off. That's disgusting. And they walk around me. I was mortified. Like, possibly the worst possible thing that could ever happen to me. My biggest fear was realized I got rejected. It was horrible. It was disgusting. So I go to my coach. I'm like, it didn't fucking work. You said it would. This is horrible. And he looks at me, and he's like, but did it kill you? And I was like, no. And he goes, there you go. You learned your valuable lesson. There's nothing wrong with getting rejected. Now, fuck that guy. Getting rejected sucks. Like, sure, that was one of the things that made me think it was okay to go and learn, and I learned how to approach. But you know one of the biggest things I learned? I learned how to approach without getting fucking rejected. And you know what's better than getting rejected by two hot girls walking down the street? Having two hot girls sucking your dick every morning. Much better. Trust me on this. Better. He was wrong. Yes, it didn't kill me. Yes, it helped me learn that I should probably go out and approach. But there are ways to approach without getting rejected. And that's what I'm going to talk you through. I'm going to take you through all of the elements. In fact, we're going to get you guys to create a scenario. I'm going to get you to come up with the worst possible scenario you can think of a girl. And then I'm going to create an approach live here on camera. I'm going to make it up. And then you get to tell me if you think that would work. That's going to happen. We're going to do that exercise in this, so it's going to be amazing. I'm excited to do it. But first, let's see. What did we get? Did we get feedback from people?
People were like wondering, what's the name of that instructor? And like, oh, I haven't heard that one. Oh, that burns.
Yeah, dude, that was horrible. Okay, so for those of you guys that want to know the name of the instructor, his name was Time for a Catnap. That's who he is. If you Google it, you probably still find him. He no longer teaches, but Time for a Catnap was my... People had weird names back then, Matt. I'm telling you, it was strange. They had some strange names. Time for a Catnap was that instructor. He's a nice guy, and actually, he's got pretty good game. But yeah, fuck that approach. I don't want to get rejected like that ever again. So let me tell you about the best rejection I ever had. And this is important. Who's heard of the importance of being the prize? I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Like, again, let's get chatting. I hope you realize that being the prize is the important thing. And when you're the prize, what that basically means is you're the guy that people are chasing. Now, the problem with a cold approach, if you walk up to someone and you approach them cold, you're kind of chasing them. So it's really hard to maintain being the prize. You know, the prize doesn't walk up to you and be like, hey, do you want me? You know, is this what you want? Like, that's not really how the prize behaves. The prize just shouldn't really care. So if you have to approach, it's very important that you can twist it very quickly and become the prize. And the easiest way to be the prize is to be the one that selects, like be the one that's choosy. And so whenever I approach nowadays, one of the biggest things I have in my mind is there's only a certain quality that I'm looking for. And that quality isn't physical, by the way. If you think it's looks, you're wrong. That's not how you choose. You don't pick based on looks. You might be like, yeah, I'm different. I pick based on looks. I only go for a 10. You're not having sex with enough 10s if you only go for 10s. Trust me. When you've had sex with a lot of 10s, you realize that actually 10s are kind of hard work, and you don't really want to put in that much effort every single day all the time. So the reason I'm saying this to you is because what you really need to be doing is focusing on the kind of person you want. And then you should know the kind of person that you want to be friends with. And these two things should be completely different. They shouldn't be exactly the same. So what happens is when I meet a girl, I will look for one specific quality. And that is, does she eat pussy? Now, you know, I'm going to word it a little bit different than that, but that is the phrase that I need to know. I want to know if this girl has sex with other girls. If she does, great. We can hang and we can date. If she doesn't, I know I don't want to be with this person. And so the best rejection I ever got, I'll never forget, it was heartbreaking. I was talking to this girl and I was like, yeah, there's two types of guys in the world. There's the kind of guy that, you know, he just gets whatever he wants. He just gets whatever he can get. You know, he just wants a hot girl. I was like, and you're beautiful, and I'm sure almost any guy like that would really want you. But there's another kind of guy, a guy like me, who, you know, I get lots of women, and like, I get that you're cool and you're hot and everything, but, you know, I've had cool and hot women before. So for me, I need something more. I only ever date girls that are actually into open relationships, girls that are willing to share, and girls that like having sex with other women. And she looks at me and she starts crying. And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, I don't think I can do that. And I was like, that's okay. You don't have to be like that. She goes, but I really like you. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She goes, but I don't think I can sleep with a girl. And she's like crying because I'm making her confront her sexuality. And I felt so bad. And so I was like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I adore you. You're amazing. You're a very cool person. You're very hot. We're going to be friends. I'm going to put you in my friend zone. We're just going to be friends. And I'm going to help you find the perfect guy. And she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it was so heartbreaking. This girl was stunning, like absolutely beautiful. She had a tight mini dress on. She had huge tits and slim waist and beautiful face. And she really wanted to get with me and really didn't like the idea of sharing me with other women, but knew that she would if I told her to. So I was like, no, I'm gonna put you in my friend zone. So a big part about rejection is understanding that you need to be the person that is choosing. And by having criteria, by saying, I'm only going to date a girl like this, I'm not going to date girls like this, it makes it very easy for you to get that mentality. Because then when you're not approaching trying to get every girl to meet you. You're approaching trying to find out if she's the right girl for you. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, let me know. If you're confused and if you're like, why didn't you just fuck her anyway? She's just crying. Tears make the best lube. If you're thinking that, then you shouldn't be watching this. But I need to hear that you guys get me and that you understand. So let's see what you guys think about that. See if that makes sense, and then we'll move on. But that was the best rejection. I felt so bad for this girl.
They started off by saying, yes, I agree, always be the prize. They really...
Okay, they get that. They get the be the prize thing. That's good. You guys get that. That's great.
And then one was like, what the fuck, you friend zone a hot girl? And the other one's like, are you crazy?
You friend zoned a hot girl. What the fuck? Why would you do that? That's awesome.
Like, it makes perfect sense. A lot of them were saying, yes, it makes sense.
Makes sense. Okay, good.
Genius.
Okay, good. All right, you guys get it. For those of you guys, I love this. I love the feedback. This is fun. For those of you guys like, why would you friend zone a hot girl? It's because there's only one dick attached to me. I can't fuck all of them. So they have to sit in my friend zone. If you go on my Facebook, you will see hot girls that message me all the time from like around the world, different places. And they're like, hey, when are we hanging out next? Hey, what's up? I actually, in my phone, I don't know if I can show this right now, but like I've got this, there we go. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I've got this girl right now who's like sending me amazing pictures of like what she's up to in life, and she's incredible. So like this isn't a picture of her, this is a picture of, I don't know if you guys can see it, I'm just like assuming you can see it if I hold it right. But anyway, point being, she's an awesome girl, and she's just, she's sending me pictures of her on vacation, where she's at right now, and she's stunning. Like I absolutely adore this girl. And will something happen between us? Won't something happen between us? I don't know. I don't presume it. But the point is, it's my choice as much as it's her choice. And so this is where you want to get that mentality. This is where you want to come to it from it. I'm not desperately trying to make anything happen, even though she's stunning, even though this girl's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not trying to make it happen because I get laid enough, except today. Today's the one day that I'm not getting it enough because I woke up this morning and I didn't get sex. But I will by the end of the day, and I'm not worried about that. And that's the point. The point is you need to be so comfortable in your sex life, so confident that you're going to get what you want, that you don't have to stress about whether you get that hot girl. You don't have to be like, oh my God, I got that hot girl in my friend zone. I got like 10 girls in my friend zone right now, like who are all stunning. One of them's, actually 2 of them are porn stars. One of them is a lingerie model. Technically another one is also a lingerie model. So like these are like very attractive women. And yeah, I'm totally fine to not be having sexual relations with them because I get more than enough at home, and I'm very happy with the amount that I get, and we get to mess around with girls if we want to. So this is it. Being the prize, you have to come from that place. If you're thinking, oh my God, why'd you miss out on that opportunity? You're not the prize because you're thinking of it as an opportunity. Like it's not an opportunity. I've got so many opportunities. I don't care about the ones that turn up. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I'm going to make sure you guys all follow me on this point. Otherwise, I've got to elaborate on it a bit more. So I'm going to give you a second to catch up. Matt, if anyone else is saying anything along that'll be good. I'm going to move on to the first point, okay? So I'm going to talk about 5 ways to prevent rejection. The first, this is killer. So I was one of the first people to do a live approach on television. Previous to me, no one had ever done this. On actual live TV, no one was really doing this. This is before the Pickup Artist TV show, before any of these things. I was one of the first. And I was in a documentary called The Rules of Seduction on Channel 4. And a documentary filmmaker came to me and said, can you pick up any girl, anywhere, anytime? And I was like, yes. Any girl, anywhere, anytime. You point to the girl, I'll get her. And so he goes, now. So I put my clothes on. He gets his camera, we go out on the street, we walk down the street, and he goes, that one. He just points to a girl, I turn around, I walk up to her, get her contact details, get her to agree to go for a coffee with me, pick her up then and there. And That's not an easy thing to do. To get that skill set, to be able to approach when somebody else tells you to do it, isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. That's a skill set that hasn't left me. 2 days ago, I was hanging out at Planet Hollywood, the hotel in Vegas, and Miss Universe was happening at the time. 88 contestants from around the world, and I'm sitting there at breakfast with my 2 girlfriends, and I get up and I go to eat at the buffet, and I sit talking to Miss Argentina. And I just instantly start chatting to her. So there's me and Miss Argentina having a conversation about life and about melons, which is exactly what we're talking about. Not these melons, but melons. At which point, some dude comes out of fucking nowhere, stands next to her, grabs her arm, pulls her around, looks at him. He's got like his little Argentinian goatee or whatever, and he's like screaming in her face, and I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't want to pick up Miss Argentina on the day she's about to go and appear on this show. I was just chatting to her because I can't help it, because if I see a hot girl, I approach because it's something I naturally do. And so I went back to my 2 girlfriends and I was laughing with them about how the fact that Miss Argentina's boyfriend is really worried because she's chatting some random guy. I mean, it's not like I'm one of the top dating coaches in the world or anything and he's got anything to worry about. Anyway, but it was funny. To me, it was funny. The point is, approaching is very natural to me. And the reason approaching is natural to me is because I have a very simple exercise that I do before I approach. Now, I don't need to do it anymore. I've approached so much at this point in life that I can just approach whenever I want. And I'm not like, oh my God, it's Miss Argentina. I'm just like, whatever, it's a chick, this will be funny. But to get there, I used to do throwaway sets. Now, throwaway sets are so amazing. Like, I can't tell you how powerful this shit is. It's so good. And I'm going to tell you about that in about 30 seconds. Matt, did you get a response from the previous thing that I was asking?
Yes, I did. I totally did. A lot of them follow, but there's guys that are wondering, they're trying to connect feeling.
So most of them follow, but there are some that are struggling to connect feeling the
They
prize.
want to feel like the prize, but they're not getting enough sex. So how do they have that?
Okay, how do you feel like the prize when you're not getting enough sex? We're going to come back to the throwaway sets in a second. I'm just going to give this to you very simple. The easiest way to feel like the prize is to fake it until you make it, right? But I don't like faking anything, so make it real. Write down the qualities you're looking for in a girl, and then when you meet people, find out if they have their qualities. Don't make it about physical things. Make it about mental things. So, for example, one of the qualities might be, it needs to be somebody who's into self-help. It's a great quality, something that most of you guys can connect with. So when you meet somebody, one of the first questions you need to ask them is, go, hey, do you read any self-help books? Have you ever read anything by Malcolm Gladwell or, I don't know, whoever else it is that you want to read. I can't all the names of Tony Robbins, whoever. All the names have like disappeared right now. But you could say to them, have you ever read any of these books? And it's like, oh my God, no, I hate those kind of books. You're just like, oh great. Now you know that girl's going in your friend zone. Straight away. And you've just developed that mentality. That has given you the mentality of the prize. And even though you may not feel it yet, outside, externally, other people, they will feel it. So hopefully that makes sense, and it's a really simple exercise to move away on. So let's move on. Throwaway sets. What is a throwaway set? Throwaway sets are the best. You're basically going to approach somebody and leave before they can reject you. And this is the best exercise to do because you're basically hacking your own brain, right? So what happens is, imagine this. I go up to, let's just say I went up to Miss Argentina. This didn't happen, but imagine it did. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, I just want to say you're absolutely gorgeous and I wish you the best of luck in the competition today. See you later. And then I left. She can't reject me. She cannot reject me because I'm gone. I just give her the line and I go. And you know what happens? As I leave, I'm going to see one thing. I gave her a big compliment. I gave her a compliment and I didn't stay around to do anything with it. You see, the average guy, when he gives a girl a compliment, he's hanging around like, hey, beautiful, you're gorgeous. And he stands there like fucking looking at her. And then she's like, oh my God, this guy wants to hit on me or whatever. You're giving it to her. When you give her a compliment and leave, she's like, wow, that was real. Like that was a genuine compliment. They don't feel like they're being put in a box or that you're doing it to get anything. It's just a free compliment. And they smile. The biggest smile ever. And they call it, thank you, as you're walking away. Thank you so much, as you're walking away. By doing that, you're doing something incredible. You are teaching your brain that girls appreciate it when you approach them. If you do that 5 times in a row, just 5 girls, approach, give them a compliment, leave. You're getting 5 thank yous, 5 girls that you have made their day because you approach. Now your brain, the way the chemistry works, is it starts to form a pattern. And this is basic Pavlovian thinking. The idea is that you've made an association between you approach girls, they get happy and say thank you. You approach a girl, she gets happy and she says thank you. Girls thank you when you approach them. You see what this does to your head? Approach number 6, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go and make this girl happy. She's going to fucking thank me for what I'm about to do. But you don't leave. At this point, your head is in exactly the right frame. You're the prize. She's going to thank you for fucking approaching her. And that's all because you did the throwaway sets completely correctly. Now, hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about that, do me a favor, just write them in the thing. Let's just get it. If you guys got it, write down, yes, I got it, Adam. That fucking makes sense. Awesome. I'm totally going to do this next time. Great, and let me know. Cool. Is everyone okay with the other thing you spoke about as well, Matt? There's a delay, guys, so that's why I'm kind of like going backwards and forwards.
Correct. Everything's pretty good. There's a guy that lives in Argentina that wants to meet Miss Argentina now. But
Guy in Argentina wants to meet Miss Argentina. That's awesome. She was in Vegas recently. Maybe still be there. You might have to wait a couple of days.
But yeah, everyone's starting to like, awesome. This guy's like, I did that, and it worked for only about 2 minutes, but 2 minutes is better.
Okay, that's great. No, I like that. Okay, so one guy's like, I did it, but it only worked for 2 minutes. Right. It only stays for a little while. But if you do it enough, if you do it like every day for like a year, it will stick. And you'll want to keep doing it. That's what happened with me. Like, I literally think I did Miss Argentina a favor by approaching her for 2 reasons. 1, I made her day. 2, I showed her that her boyfriend's too possessive and he needs to chill the fuck out because she's Miss Argentina. And if she's going to be Miss Universe, that means every single person in the universe is going to think she's the most attractive. So he's got to deal with fucking Martians. He's got to deal with aliens from God knows what other planets, not to mention Earthlings. You know what I mean? Like, that's the issue. He needs to relax a bit and not be so jealous about Miss Argentina. And he needs to just think of her as just some chick. Fun fact, I have made out with both Miss World and Miss Poland. And I've had sex with Miss Poland. And I also had sex with Miss Latin America UK. They're like the misses, if anyone can. I don't know if anyone can. I'm really just telling Matt. Anyway, but yeah, Miss Poland was awesome. I nearly said I kicked her in the face, which is true. I did kick her in the face. And then I was like, that's probably not a good thing to say on camera. We were play fighting is what happened. But yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome, badass chick. Anyway, whatever. I digress. Where are we? What are they saying? Do they get it?
Yeah, everyone's very happy. They're like, damn, I used to do this naturally, so they're going to get back to it.
It's awesome. You used to naturally get back to it. Good. All right.
Yeah, so this is a warm-up. Okay, great.
It's a warm-up.
Good.
Okay, good. All right, so you guys all got this. Is anyone like, fuck, I don't understand. Are we good? Everyone okay? Everyone with us?
Everyone's good.
Awesome. How many people are watching now? Is anyone like, okay, this is too hard? What are we? 94. Holy shit. Okay, so there's more people have arrived. So for you guys that have arrived, welcome. I'm glad you joined in. I'm glad you see this. You guys see this more of a conversation. I just want to talk to you guys. I want to make sure that I'm relating and really trying to give you guys some value. Are you guys getting value? If you're getting value, let me know. Let me know I'm doing a good job. It's hard because I'm dealing with a camera, not an audience. If you guys are a big crowd, you'd be going, yeah, it makes sense. Or, oh my God, you suck. Get out. So react to me. Let me know. Let me know that you guys are actually watching this and that we've got some good rapport going. For the new guys, just so you know, we're talking about the 5 ways to prevent rejection. This literally just had to completely stop rejection. And at the very end, I'm going to give you a link you can click on to look at some government research that was done into the thing that gets a girl wanting to have sex. That's not by me, it's by a friend of mine, but I'm going to tell you about that later on, which everybody else wants to know about. So for the new guys, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Get involved, get talking, get typing, talk to Matt. I want to drown him. I want to see that comment box just going so fast he can't keep up. All right, number 2. This is the exercise I told you about. So here's what I want you guys to do. You guys, with Matt, are going to create the worst possible girl. All right? So I want you to think about a girl, and I want you to describe her personality and how she's behaving, and I want you to come up with the worst scenario ever. One that I would never, or you think I would never be able to do, okay? So obviously she's hot. We're going to start there. Don't be like, oh, she's some big fat woman, because yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be able to approach her, but that's nothing to do with my inability to do it. It's to do with my desire. So she's a hot girl, and now I want you to describe her behavior. Describe how mean she is, or you know, what her face is doing, or that she's a lesbian. I don't know, describe whatever you guys can come up with. Between you, just write it down, write down all the stuff. Matt's going to pick the best, the things that he thinks worst. I'm going to confirm that you guys agree that you think this is the worst, and then I'm going to create an opening line, and then you guys get to tell me if you think that that would work, or whether she would reject me, all right? So you see how big of a deal, this is better than doing a live approach, right? Because you guys are going to create the girl, I'm going to create the line, and then you guys judge if my line is good enough. And then afterwards, I'm going to break down that line and why it's so awesome. So let's be real with each other. Don't make things up. You know, don't be like, she's a Martian. That's weird. Let's keep it real. We getting some suggestions coming in, Matt?
Yeah,
all right.
We have one scenario. This guy's like, a girl's ignoring everybody else on the bus.
She's ignoring everybody else on a bus, by the way. Her headphones are plugged in.
She's looking through her messages.
She's looking through her messages, and she's what?
She's curled up.
And she's curled up. I heard she's playing Hero Lab. My girlfriend's playing Hero Lab right now, so that I'd be like, oh, that's easy. Okay, all right. So have we got anything worse than that? Can we add? Let's see what we've got. Let's try and make that worse. So it's a girl on a bus, ignoring everyone, headphones in, on her phone. Do you all agree that that sounds really difficult, or can we make this worse? Go for it.
She's on her period. Her family just died in a car
She's
accident.
on her period, and her family just died in a car accident, which is why she's taking the bus, because she doesn't have a car. Do we agree? Is this the worst? Can you guys... if you agree, if you're like, yeah, you know what, that's good enough, because I want to make sure you all agree that this is the hardest approach ever. Let's keep this going. What else we got? Anyone else adding stuff?
Her friends left her because she was so depressed from her...
Her friends left her because she was so depressed. This is from multiple people, right? Not just...
Yes.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Her friends left because she's depressed. Are people agreeing? Are they like, you know what, that sounds perfect? Or does she need to be more mean? Can we...
I'm pretty sure...
Let's, he's reading through. He's trying to find the way.
This guy's like, that's brutal.
That's brutal. All right, good.
And
Okay.
she's Japanese.
And she's Japanese. All right. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to describe the situation, and then I'm going to describe the line. I want you guys all to confirm that you think that this would be the hardest situation. If you do, if you're like, yes, this is good enough, say, yes, this is good enough. I'm on a bus, and there is a beautiful girl on a bus with me. And she is stunning, gorgeous. But boy, is she in a bad mood. See, because earlier on that day, her family all died in a car crash. And as opposed to being upset, she's angry and depressed, because that's much more logical. And she's staring at her phone, texting her friends who don't like her anymore, because she refuses to get in the car with them and only travels by bus. Is this where we're at? And she's angry and depressed and has headphones on listening to angry gothic music in Japanese because she's Japanese. Is that good enough? Is it good enough? I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that's high stakes, right? You got to agree with me that's high stakes. I'm going to try and create a line that won't get me rejected, that will actually get her to be willing to be receptive to me, to listen to what I say, and to actually talk to me, right? And you guys are going to get to vote if this is good enough. Now, I want to know what you think of if I pull this off. Let's just assume I can. And I don't know if I can. Let's be real. Don't know if I can. But if I can come up with something that would work, that would stop me getting rejected, first of all, it would probably mean that I know the key to making sure you never get rejected. Second of all, that's like fucking huge. What would you guys think of my abilities as a pickup artist, as a dating coach, if I could verbalize a line to you and then you guys agreed that it was good and it would work? Because at the moment, I'm guessing you guys don't believe that that could work. Let's test that. Let's find out. If you believe that that is an almost impossible scenario, if you're like, no one could get a goal like that, or almost no one could get a goal like that, give me it. Say, yes, you know what? That is the situation. Like, could you do it? Would you be able to approach that girl? She's stunning, beautiful. It's the girl you want. She's got huge tits, even though she's Japanese. And she's got a vagina that can crush walnuts. And you just know it exists, right? So we need to imagine this girl. We need to imagine she's there. Could you do it? And if not, if you couldn't do it, what would you think about somebody who was capable of creating a line that would reduce rejection to practically zero? What would you think of if I could pull that off? So let's see. What are people saying?
They're saying they personally couldn't.
They personally
a whole
couldn't.
lot less skeptical if you could pull it off.
Okay.
There's,
Less skeptical if I could pull it off. All right.
You'd be a god amongst
A
men.
god amongst men. I don't like that. But okay. All right. So here we go. I just want one thing from you. If I pull this off, I want one thing. I want a deal. If I pull this off, do me a favor and don't give up. That's it. Because this stuff works. I know it works. The only thing I want from you is I want you to not give up. I want you to take steps to push yourself and try and do whatever you want. Because I'm telling you that I love my sex life. I'm telling you that I love my life. I'm telling you that I have a very happy life. And I'm very happy with the women that I have in it. And I have fucked a shit ton of girls in my life. I've fucked porn stars. I've fucked celebrities. I've been in the newspaper for girls that I've fucked. Even, nothing to being a dating coach. Just because I fucked a celebrity. I fucked a Big Brother housemate. I don't know if you know that. It's a fun story. The day she came out of the house, my friend's like, I bet you can't pick her up. That's the day she came out. She's just going to want to see her family. I made her suck my dick in a park, took her home and fucked her. And she went home to her family the next day. And it was in the tabloids. It was in the newspaper. Anyway, point being, I'm not doing it to brag. I'm doing it just to say, you can have that life. I'm not sitting here being like, I'm amazing, you're not. I'm like, I'm amazing and you can be better than me because I started when I was older. And most of you guys are probably younger than me. And most of you guys, even if you are older than me, you can get this skill set within 3 years maximum. And if you follow stuff like the link I'm going to show you, you could probably get it done within a week. Like, and I know it sounds crazy, but you just have to be willing to push yourself and you can drastically reduce that time. So that's the deal. If you want the deal, then I'm going to create the line and then you guys have to tell me if you think it'll work. What are people saying? Deal, hell yeah. Is anyone like, nope, fuck that?
No.
What's the view count like? Is everyone like turned off? They're like, no, fuck this.
102.
102, shit. All right, we went up. All right, okay. Whew, here we go. Can I do it? All right, this is what I'm going to do. Now, remember, my goal here is just to create a line that doesn't get me rejected. It's not going to be to say one thing that makes us suddenly go, oh my God, you're right. I need to suck your dick, right? Because her parents died this morning. That ain't happening. Like, we're going to be realistic. So I want you guys to know that I'm just going to create a line that just doesn't get me rejected. Okay, that's it. That's the purpose. You guys get that? Let's make sure they get that before, because I don't want them being like, oh, wow, holy shit, that girl's never going to suck your dick with that line. Because that's not the point. This isn't a get her to suck my dick on the bus line in front of everybody. That doesn't exist. That's magic. I'm just going to get her to be willing to talk to me. That is it. She's Japanese. That makes it harder. That was a curveball. I didn't expect that. Is everyone good on this? They are understanding. They're like, okay, sure, yes. All right, there's a bit of a delay. I just need confirmation you understand. The goal is for me to make sure that she won't reject me, that she will listen and talk to me.
Yes, we get it.
Yes, we get it. Yes, good. All right, here's what you can do. Now, first things first. She's Japanese. I got to bring out my phone. I don't have a choice. I don't speak Japanese. I do speak Japanese, but the only thing I can say is samurai no katana de kuri wa kobe zo, which basically means I'm going to cut your head off with a samurai sword. And it's the only phrase I know, and I had to learn it because I dated a girl whose ex-boyfriend was Yakuza, and he threatened to kill me. And I need to threaten him in his own native language so he knew how serious I was. But that's another story. So, girls be crazy. Here's what I do. So I have Google Translate on my phone. Google Translate's the killer. If you've got to talk in a different language, then Google Translate's the way to go. It's funny because it says funny things. And so this is the approach I'm going to use. I'm going to reach my hand out, I'm going to touch her on the arm. It's going to bypass the headphone thing. So I'm going to reach my hand out, touch her on the arm. She's going to look at me angrily, very angrily. And she's like, look at you, yeah! She's going to be pissed off, right? She's going to be so fucking mad. And then I'm going to look at her with a big smile. I'm going to point to the Google Translate, and then I'm going to point at her purse. Point to Google Translate, point at her purse. I'm going to have a big smile. I'm going to go like this. And the Google Translate message is going to say the following. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. It's obvious that you're having a bad day. It's just the guy that just walked past you on the bus, he looked at your handbag, and I'm concerned that he reached down near it, and I just want to make sure that your day doesn't get any worse, and just make sure everything's there. You might want to zip up your purse or pull it under the seat next to you because there's a lot of dangerous people around. And I hope your day gets better. Smiley face. Will that girl reject me? Will she be like, fuck off, die! I don't want to talk to you, you're horrible. Or will she say, thank you, and smile? You tell me. You tell me if I did it. That's it. Mic drop. That's it. That's all I've got. That's the best I've got in that situation. You guys create it. I didn't know what you were going to say. That's my solution. Let's see what people say. Are they like, nope, fuck that, it wouldn't work, she'd reject you, she'd say to fuck off?
Still waiting on
And see, there's a delay. So I know there's a delay, so you never know what's going to happen.
So,
See how it goes.
One person's like, you'll pass her ego, I think.
Yeah, you'll pass her ego. Okay,
She'll start listening.
She'll start listening. Here we go.
I don't know if she'll smile, but she'll say thank you.
I don't know if she'll smile, she'll say thank you.
What if she doesn't say anything? I don't know, that's not. I think that's good enough. Could work.
I think that's good enough. Could work. All right, so you see? Okay, good. Mostly positive, right? Is anyone like, no, fuck that, that would never work?
No.
No one. No one. So I want you guys to realize that the chance of me meeting that girl is about 0, right? Like, literally 0. How the fuck is a girl who's only speaking Japanese traveling on a bus system in America? I'm from England. I don't understand your fucking bus system. No offense. This situation, like, her parents died that morning and she's on a fucking bus, like, not real. The situation you guys created is completely insane and would never really happen. And yet, you guys are capable of hearing me create a line, and yet you're like, actually, you know what, that line might work, or at least it would get me into the conversation. Now, the next thing is, this is what everyone does, right? They're like, yeah, but then what would you do? Which is basically like, right, how do I transition? That's the only question. It's not like, oh, but then what are you going to... It's just, how do you transition? How you transition is a completely different subject. We're not talking about transitioning. We're talking about rejection. I've done other seminars on transitioning. If you want seminars on transitioning, email in. Send a message. Just reply to the emails that we've been sending and say, hey, please can I get some seminars on transitioning, and we'll teach you transitioning. Or better yet, don't wait that long. Click on the link at the end and learn how to transition right through to sex, because that's what this is about, that we're going to be going over later on. So you can learn that. This is just about how to not get rejected. Now, why does it work? It works very simply because I'm adding value. And if you want an opening line that is guaranteed to work, add value. Think, what do they need? How can I get it to them? How can I help? Now, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy a girl a drink at the bar. That way I'm adding value. Hey, I'm going to get these two ladies a drink. You're not adding value, you're taking value. Why does buying a girl a drink take value? Well, it's simple. You're buying the girl the drink with the simple intention of getting her to talk to you. You're essentially trying to buy her time at whatever the rate of the drink is. So if the drink costs you $5, you're buying $5 worth of her time. But you're probably not going to accept just $5 of her time, because if she's a quality girl, let's just say she's a model who gets paid, I don't know, $750 an hour, 5 minutes or $5 of her time is not worth much. It's worth the 20 seconds for her to say, thank you. She can buy her own fucking drink. So this is the point. Buying a drink doesn't actually do anything unless you buy a drink for everybody. And I've tested this. I went to a bar and I went up to the barman and I said, I want 100 shots of your best shot, whatever it is, your signature shot for this place. And I paid $200. And it was like $2 a pop in some dive bar in the middle of Austin, Texas, actually Dallas, Texas. And I bought 100 shots. And I turned around to the whole bar and I said, hey guys, I'm new in town. I'm celebrating. I had a big win at work and I just wanted to buy everyone drinks. Drinks are on me. It's 100 shots at the bar. And everyone at the bar came to grab drinks. Every one of them. They all came up and they all started drinking. I added value. I didn't buy time from any one of them. I bought them all drinks and I sat back. One by one, everyone came up to me, thank you so much. And what happened was all the girls wanted to find out why I was doing this. So they sat and talked to me. I single-handedly removed every single girl in the bar from all the guys. I ended up surrounded by about 12 girls. The girls that had guys went off with them. So I worked out who the single ones were. And then one guy came up to me at the very end and he's like, I see what you fucking did. And I was like, what can I say? I know what I'm doing. And that is the key. So you can buy drinks to add value, but you got to buy a drink for everyone. Buying a drink for just one girl, it just looks too much like an exchange. It would be so much easier if I was actually going to add value to a girl via a drink, not to buy her a drink, but just to help her get to the front of the line. You know, if I'm at the front of the line, I'm going, hey, you know what, you're tiny, you're going to get squished. Come here, stand next to me, you'll be safe. And that way, I'm adding value. So if you don't want to get rejected, think, does this line add value? So if a girl's walking up to you and you're like, hey, what's up, short stuff? Does calling her short stuff add value? Does it make her feel good? No. Test it. Imagine the girl on the bus, the fucking Japanese girl that hates life and everything's horrible. She's sitting there. Imagine if you said to her, hey, short stuff, what's up? No, it's not going to work. You know it won't work, right? Let's get feedback. Do you know that won't work? Girl on the bus, Japanese girl, her parents died this morning, everything's horrible, and you're like, hey, what's up, short stuff? Would that work? Let's see what people think. We get any feedback from the other stuff? Anyone else saying anything else? Just curious.
There's a little waiting on delay right now.
Okay, waiting on delay on that. All right, that's absolutely fine. So, adding value is literally the best thing you can do for an opening line. Some people can't think that though. They're like, you know what? Coming up with an opening line is difficult. I can't really think of it. I'm not sure what to do. And so I'm going to give you another line that is a little bit easier to do and that works incredibly well if you're stuck. Does anyone agree with me on the Japanese girl thing, by the way? Hey, short stuff wouldn't work.
They were wondering, what was the value added? And
what was the value added in the line that I created?
Correct.
The value added was warning her that her purse might get stolen by somebody. Imagine a day where everything's getting really, really bad and everything's falling apart, and then you spot a situation about to happen and you protect her from it. That will make her feel better. I'm not saying that you should go around and pretend that people's purses are getting stolen, by the way. That's not the point. I just created that situation in response to your guys' created situation. My point is you want to think, how can I add value? How can what I do make them feel better? So the better example would be helping somebody get to the bar. That would be a much better line to use and much more likely scenario. Cool. Anyone saying anything else on that?
they were talking about she would cut your head off with a samurai sword, things like that. So
Well,
it's starting to get crazy.
Okay, people are getting crazy in there. All right, good. All right, guys, let's get back on track. Any other questions? Anyone good, or can we move on? Just want to make sure.
Double checking to make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Okay, good.
Somebody was talking about like if they don't have money because they're a college student, how do they do the thing at the bar, things like that.
Okay, if you don't have money because you're a college student, how do you do the thing at the bar? Again, you don't have to do the thing at the bar. It's just an example of this is a way that you could add value. Realistically, I think the best way is to look at somebody and think, how can I add value to this person? What is a good way to add value? And again, like this could be another topic. You know, we could do a whole topic on, 10 ways to add value to people you don't know. But doesn't really govern this subject that we're talking about today. So I'm not going to deliberate on it too much because I've only got so much time. At the point, how much time? What is the time?
It's
12:57. Oh wow! So I've got 3 minutes. Oops. That's okay. I'm going to go over. I'm just going to go over. I'm sorry for everyone that thought this was going to be an hour. This is going to be longer. I feel bad. I hope you guys don't mind, actually. Can I have permission? Are you guys okay with that? I shouldn't just assume. If you guys are okay with me going on longer than I should, please let me know and I'll just keep going. But obviously, I can't get into absolutely everything because I've still got 3 points on here. And then I've still got to give you access to learn about that government-led study into what it is that makes women have sex. And actually, I've got this thing called the Field Guide to Sex that you're probably going to be interested in as well, that we'll talk about later.
Yes, go longer.
Go longer. Everyone's okay with it? Good. All right, good. Actually, the delay seems shorter today.
All day if you want.
All day if you want, yeah. I wish. Unfortunately, I do have to go and get sex, remember? That's a thing. It's been too long. Since yesterday morning. It's a long fucking time. Okay, functional lines. So if in doubt, if you're stuck and you're like, you know what, thinking what they need help with is too difficult, which I suspect is going to be a thing, then functional lines are great. You can't get rejected from a functional line. Functional line is simple. You have a problem, you need help, you ask somebody for help. But the help needs to be very functional, very mechanical, very physical. So what I mean by this is, where is something? That's like the best example of a functional line. Where is X? So where is the nearest Starbucks is like the line that I'm famous for because that's the line that I used in the documentary. It's funny, when I did it, I was like, everyone's going to think that's my line, and I never use it. It's just a really good, simple line to show somebody how simple it can be. Where is the nearest Starbucks? See, what happens is you can't get rejected from that. I want you to imagine this. Hi, excuse me, where is the nearest Starbucks? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, oh my God, she hates me. No, she just doesn't know where Starbucks is. She just doesn't fucking know. It's not rejection. You can't get rejected from a functional line because your dick isn't out. You know what I mean? Like, you're not being like, oh, hey, I want you. You're just like, hey, do you know where Starbucks is? If she says no, it's not over. You just have to transition. That's it. Yeah, hey, do you know where the nearest Starbucks is? No, I don't. Oh, that's okay, no problem. Hey, you know what? You've got a great smile. Boom. And then off I transition into something else. No doesn't mean that she isn't interested when you're asking where is the nearest Starbucks. It just means they don't know where it is. So you can say, what time does this bar close? Are there any good restaurants in the area? Where is the best place to catch the bus? Because I want to hang out with crazy Japanese women. Whatever the situation is, a functional line will never get you rejected. Like never, ever, ever. So that's a very powerful thing to do. Next, this is a big one, pre-selection. You know how hard it is to get rejected if you're hanging out with another girl? Because most people assume that the two of you are already together. So if you want to drastically reduce your chance of getting rejected, just make sure that when you first meet people, there is a girl next to you. Now, one of my favorite ways to do this is to actually find bisexual women or lesbian women who want to meet other girls. And then I just have a deal with them. The deal is very simple. We take it in turns. They find one girl, I find the next girl, and we take each girl literally in turns. Funny enough, I've got a very good lesbian friend that lives in Austin, Texas. Her name's Stephanie. Hopefully she's watching this. I don't know if she is, but hopefully she is. She's amazing. And me and Stephanie always joke about the fact that, because we've both helped each other pick up girls before in the past, and we always joke about the fact that one day we're going to spit roast a girl and high five in the middle of it. Just because she likes fucking girls with strap-ons. I like having sex with girls. And the two of us, her being a lesbian, she doesn't obviously really want to have sex with a guy. But she's like, but I could have sex with a girl with a guy in the room. That would be okay. That wouldn't like ruin her lesbian status or whatever. So we're talking about the fact that we're both going to spit roast a girl and high five her. Point being, lesbians make the best wingmen in the world. Because whenever people meet me, if I'm hanging out with Stephanie, they're like, oh, they're together. They're both dating. And then when we start talking, they find out that she's a lesbian and they find out that I'm single. But at that point, we've not been rejected. We're already in. So if you can get a female wingman, and again, it doesn't even have to be like a lesbian or bisexual, it could just be a family member. If you've got like a niece or a cousin or anyone who's a girl that wants to meet people, you just take it in turns. I help you meet a guy, you help me meet a girl. I help you meet a guy, you help me meet a girl. And we go out every other night and we take it in turns. It is a very simple and easy way of building pre-selection. Does that sound like something you can do? Between pre-selection and functional lines, do these kind of things feel like something you can do? If they do, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Let's make sure that you guys get it and understand. How many people are watching now? Okay, 105 people. Wow, holy shit. All right, it's good. So we've got over 100 people watching this still. This is great. This is good, guys, because if I can help just like 10 of you, if just 10 of you actually take action and get help, then this has been worth it as far as I'm concerned. You know, a couple of hours of my time to help 10 people, totally worth it.
Yeah, so this thing, makes sense, and especially when you
makes sense.
value when you're with your open line.
Add value with the open line. Good.
Feels natural.
Good. It feels natural. That's the key, right? It feels natural. And that's what we're trying to do here, guys. We're just trying to come up with ways that feel very natural, very normal, that add value, that get you in so no one wants to reject you. And you can see why the average guy who walks up to a girl and is like, hey, is there a fire in here? Someone call a fireman? And they're trying to be cool and weird. By the way, that line was taught to me on my very first boot camp by Time for a Catnap. True story. Is there a fire in here? For fuck's sake. But the point is, these lines are much better because they're actually tailored and they're going to make sure you don't get rejected. Finally, this is the best. How about you only approach girls that want to have sex? How does that sound? Yeah, could you imagine if you just go into a room, you just look around the room and like, oh, she wants the D, and that's the person that you approach. Could you tell me, how powerful do you think that would be if you could just look at a girl and know that she wanted sex? What if I could tell you? What if I could tell you a way that you could just look at a girl and you know that she wants sex? Just by her clothing. You can look at her clothes, not by her face, not her body language, just her clothes alone, and you could tell if she wanted sex. Is that powerful? Is that useful? Let me know. Let's see what people say. Is that something they want to know?
Wait for the delay.
Okay, there's a delay, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like nodding as if like yes, and then I'm like really? And then you're like, there's a delay.
I'm like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, I want to know that.
Speech, man.
Okay. All right, what are people saying?
They're like, what's the catch? How?
What's the catch? How?
Like in the previous podcast.
Does anyone, like in the previous podcast?
Yes, as I'm talking, I'm guessing video. Kickface was here in the last video we were here.
Okay.
Like, yes, that is good. Yes, we want to know.
All right, we want to know. Okay, so how to look at someone's clothes. Now, this is a big mistake that a lot of guys make. They'll see a girl and she's got like a crop top, like showing off her tits and showing off her ass or whatever, and they'll look at it and they'll be like, she wants the D. And that's wrong. That's really, really wrong. You don't want to judge a girl based just on her clothing whether she wants sex. But you can do it. And it's a little bit complicated in the way you do it. And what you're doing is you're looking at how she adjusts her clothing. You guys ever seen those girls, those really tiny mini skirts, and they're constantly trying to pull it down to cover their butt more often? They don't want the D. And guys will think they do. They'll be like, oh, she's wearing a mini skirt, she wants it. No, she's wearing a mini skirt because she thinks it's fashionable, and she's actually uncomfortable in it because she keeps trying to pull it down to cover herself. If she's pulling it down to cover herself, she ain't that interested in it. The girls that really want sex are the ones that are wearing clothes and they don't bother fixing it when it shows off their flesh. So what I mean by this is if a girl's looking all hot and she's not being conscious about covering herself up, and so she'll move and it will come untucked and you'll see flesh and she's okay with it bearing out and hanging out, and she's like partying and going wild. Like I remember there was one girl that I'd hang out with, she'd go wild like this and her tit would like drop out of her top and she'd be like, oh, my bad, and put it back in again. She wanted sex. That doesn't mean you go straight up to them like, you want the D, let's have it. You still have to go through the whole approach. You still have to go through everything and do it. But they're the ones. You're looking for the girls that don't care if they show something off. If something happens and they're just not bothered about it. Because those girls are so in tune sexually that they are open to the concept of sex. And I'm not saying they're the only girls that you should approach. I'm not saying that if a girl isn't doing that, then you should be like, oh, she doesn't want it. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the ones that do, they're not going to reject you. Because if a girl is comfortable enough to party with her arm in the air and let her tip fall out, or let her top show and look, because they all have that little bit of, like, they call it muffin top, that little bit of skin that hangs over, they all have that. If a girl has that and it's just hanging out over and she doesn't care about hiding it, then she's very unlikely to reject you. Because she's comfortable in who she is, and if you approach her with any of these ways, then she's going to be comfortable with you as well, and she's going to be open to having that conversation with you. This is a very simple way of doing it. And there's another way that you can tell, same kind of thing. If while talking to her, she adjusts herself to show more skin, then that's somebody that's interested. So a typical thing that goes with their bra is if they like push up their tits inside their bra to show more cleavage, that's a girl that's open to sex. Anytime you see situations like this, when a girl, or if she's actively moving her leg into position so you can see more surface area of thigh, that is somebody who's interested in sex. So whenever you see these signs, you know that they're interested in sex and they're going to be open to at least communicating with you and then for you to start running everything you're doing. Now, a good buddy of mine is actually very into and interested in the different signs that girls give off when they have sex. And he's mapped out not just those signs, but also the techniques that lead somebody through into having sex. And he did it based on some government studies that he's discovered that I'd never heard of before. And he asked me if I wouldn't mind sharing it with you guys. And so I have. So you should find a link underneath this video. Is it there? Can they? Yeah. Guys, if you see the link, let me know, because there was some problems earlier on, which is why we were a couple of minutes late with getting the link on there. So if you see the link, let me know. Just give me in the comments and let me know that you guys can see that, okay? And then if you click on that link, you're actually going to get this thing called the Blueprint to Sex. And it's a guideline, and he's got like this pocket speed guide that he calls that can fit into your pocket that's based on this government research of the best way to go about meeting a girl and taking to having sex that night. So if you're interested in getting that speed guide to sex, or if you just want to learn about the government research, then all you have to do is click on the link beneath that video if it's showing. Are people saying it's showing? Do they see it?
It's definitely showing.
Yeah, is everyone saying, yes, I've got it? Not just that we can see it, but can they see it?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, great. Good. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor. After this, if you've got any questions about this, I'll answer like 3 questions because I am on a timeline. So I'm going to answer 3 questions. But then do yourself a favor. Like, don't turn this off and be like, okay, great, that was fine. Click on the link, watch the video, have a look, and see what you think about it. Because I think that kind of stuff's fascinating. I love learning about the different government research that's being done, especially when they're trying to increase the population by getting us to have more sex. So click on the link, check it out, and then let's have a look at if there's 3 questions that have come up, Matt, if anyone's asked any questions from anything else.
I'm just going to go ahead and post the link again in the chat so they can have it.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so Matt, for those of you guys, if anybody can't see it, which was the problem we had earlier, he's going to put it in the chat so you can click on it in the chat as well. And do it now. Just click on the link and open it up and you can go there. I'm going to answer 3 questions, but like you're not really going to miss out on anything if you want to check it out now. Cool. What do we got?
Okay, so what's the first thing I say to a girl via text or Tinder to never get rejected?
What's the first thing I say to a girl via text or Tinder to make sure I never get rejected? So those 2 things are completely different. So I'm going to... what's the best one to go with? I'm probably going to go with text because that was the first thing that was asked. So what's the best thing I can do via text to make sure I don't get rejected? I like sending people cute little gifs of animals that are furry and cuddly. So one of the favorite ones I like doing is there's a goat that I like sending people. I send a picture of this goat, and it's just like this silly short gif of a goat like being crazy. And then I'm like, oh my God, I just found this and I had to share it with you. Hey, it was great catching up yesterday. Boom. How's your week been? Something like that. So I've got a question in there which encourages a reply, and I'm sending a cute goat. This is the best thing. She's not rejecting me. She's rejecting the fucking goat, which she can't do. So she won't. And that's why that's such a powerful thing to do. Cool. Next question.
Yes. How do you verbally project pre-selection when you don't have a girl next to you?
How do you verbally project pre-selection when you don't have a girl next to you? Honestly, I try not to. If you have to, if you're really trying to do it, like I prefer to meet a girl and then use her to meet somebody else. That's usually my favorite way of doing it. But if you absolutely have to project it, then I'll often be like, you know what's funny? I was hanging out with my girlfriend the other day, and then tell whatever story you're going to do. Just that phrase, I was hanging out with my girlfriend the other day, and then tell the story. That tends to work best. And then later on, you can clarify girlfriend, like a friend who's a girl. Cool. Next question.
So, Luis is asking, here on this chat, if you wanted to create a line in order to get your attention, in order to add value and get your attention, what would he say?
If he wanted to create a line on the chat to get my attention, what would he say? Well, that would be difficult because I'm not reading the chat. So that makes it very hard. So you don't have to connect to me. You've got to add value to Matt. So I would, if I was going to do this, I'd think like that. And I'd be like, hey, Matt, I just want to say thank you ever so much for all the help that you do. You're here every single week. You're giving us feedback. And I really appreciate that you're going through the chat and doing it. If there's ever anything I can do for you, if you're ever struggling with work or anything and you want to have somebody to help out with some basic projects, I would be totally open to doing that. I would say something like that to Matt, I think. Because connecting with Matt is going to be the surest way in that chat because he sees it. And then once you get that connection with Matt, if Matt's ever like, hey, this is my buddy, Louise or whatever, or John, then I'm going to be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, because they're friends with Matt. So that's what I would be saying. And that's it. Thank you ever so much. Here's what you can do. I'm going to give you one action step that I want you to take. This will stop you getting rejected. Great. But it will not get you laid. For all of you guys at the beginning that were like, you know what, I really want to be happy with my sex life. I'm going to get off this. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to get my dick sucked. I'm going to go and have sex. That's what I'm going to do. Here's what I want you to do. If from this, you don't know for a fact you're going to get laid. If you're like, okay, cool, I won't get rejected, but I'm not going to get laid. click on the link, watch the video. It's one video. You just click on the link and watch it. Watch the video and see what you think, because that just might be the key thing. And if you've got a fucking speed guide in your back pocket that guides you through the best way to get laid, like, you're just never going to struggle. If you're talking to a girl and you're like, fuck, I'm not sure what to do next, go to the restroom, read the guide, go back out with the girl, boom, you're going to get what you want. So do yourself a favor, confirm it in the chat, just say, yes, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to take action about my own life, and I'm going to do the things that I need to do to make sure that I get sex so that I'm happy. I want you to do that. I want you to ensure that this wasn't a waste of my time and it wasn't a waste of yours, and that you're going to do the things you need to make sure you're getting the sex that you want. Guys, I wish you the very best of luck. I want to say thank you to Matt. Please, in the chat, say thank you to Matt. He puts in a lot of effort. Appreciate him. I appreciate you. I appreciate Matt. Click on the link, watch the video, and I'll see you next time.